Hello, everybody. Gerone Wright here. And once again, you're joining me on my Gerone Wright YouTube channel here on YouTube. Okay, in this video, I'm going to be back to doing an image. And it's like a mural that's in a basilica. And it's actually, you can Google this image for yourself. It's the Saint Quintin Basilica. Okay, this image is taken from the St. Quintin Basilica, and basically, what you're seeing here. Let me bring it in closer. Is pretty much what it is actually showing you. You see a tree of seemingly clergy figures. Okay, what I find disturbing is about this image is that in this tree of clergy figures, you have a clergyman. Okay, I know that Jesus is up here shown hung out or sprayed out from the tree, but I don't know who this figure is actually representing. I'm not going to actually even try to go into trying to describe who that figure is, but I do know that that figure, his head is here, his body is stretched out, and the root of the tree is shown pretty much stemming from his crotch area here and coming up, and then on each level you see all of these other figures. You know, this is no different, people, than if we were to look at our own family tree and how it has the grandmother and the grandpa at the top, and then coming down to the paternal parents, and it shows sister and brother, this, that, and the third, and it shows pretty much your family tree. Here, through my findings, what I'm consistently finding is that these ancient biblical references are stating their genetic tree, bloodlines, semen lines, genetics, not just bloodlines, but semen lines, genetics, which involve the transformation of one gene pool to another, and it's actually showing how mankind genetically altered himself. Now, you're probably saying, well, pretty much man is almost all alike. No, we're not all alike. Genetically, we are all different. Meaning, for the simple, again, I always like to use the Caucasians as an example, because when we get to our Caucasian counterparts, there's a dramatic change in the physical appearance of our of our Caucasian counterparts from that of our ape and African ancestor. It's not just there, though, however, it's also through each and every culture and civilization that was created on the pyramid of creations of that of our ape and African ancestor. Okay? There's a dramatic change. It seems like it might have been an evolution of these people. But people, this doesn't cause for the different in eye colors, the different in hair colors. And none of that can be described except through my discoveries. It's showing, if you look at these animals, if you look at our cats, if you look at our horses, if you look at our pigs, if you look at all of these creatures, the lions, tigers and bears, and you start looking at their eyes, you look at their manes, their hair, if you start looking at these creatures for what they are, then you can see in their faces and see in their eyes and see in their hair that these creatures are creatures that have been genetically introduced into us, and vice versa. In this image, there's a tree. You have the figure laid out, and it always describes what is going on genetically. First of all, this arch figure here, let's look at this. You have this object here, first of all, this arch, in the shape of what? a penis. Then furtherly describing what I'm describing here as being a penis, you have the trunk and the stem of a tree, the limbs of a tree, coming from where the area of a laid out man, and is coming from his private area, which represents his penis. It's my position that this here in the reddened area represents the blood, and this cloth that I found through a lot of Renaissance artists' underlined inscriptions, when they appear to be white, represents that of semen. So it's saying through the blood and the drapings of this chemistry here, these beings are covenant in the genes that were created here. But this lying man is not just all that is here. There are images at where his feet are supposedly be. If you turn the image up, you'll see a creature seemingly like a mutation of that of a man there. But it's not just any creature. It describes what type of creature it is. Just as this lying man here is describing how you see his beard and his face and his hair. You see his wolf-like appearance, his lion-like appearance. Well, he's describing, and you see he's sleeping genetically, that just laid out. Well, at his head, his pillow, you know what is here? There are multidimensional images there, which include the mother of creation, the witch-like woman, the ape, and the lion, and other mutations that are here, showing you that this man has his head rested upon them. You know what that is signifying, people? That this man orally took in the genetics of these creatures. They don't have a black man laying here, but they have the next of kin. They have the ape African ancestor, which all of us evolved from the ape, but they do not describe it, because then the cat would be out of the bag, so to speak, and they wouldn't have the lion there in the earlier images. But the lion is there. You'll see the lion bridged over with the ape in here, which represents our ape and African ancestors. And he's saying that he genetically came to this point through this chemistry, through this cauldron. This slab here represents the foundation's genetics being altered with these creatures. I'm going to bring in something else. Now, when you Google that image, another thing, before I forget, I'm going to bring the image in closer. Because wherever there is man being described, there's also woman being described, because it's included inside of it. They couldn't have a woman laid out here with this guy, because it'll actually, again, give away everything. Just like they wouldn't have, in other words, there was this, we all know that there was this prejudice towards people of color back then and towards women. So they couldn't put no woman down here, because then it would know that man and woman created something genetically, and this is what's going on. So they leave the man down here and encode and encrypt everything, and then you don't see that, and you're just saying, well, okay, it's just a biblical figure, and you're just showing that he spread the word between these people. No, this is not the case. This image is implying just what it is implying. Through the pineal gland, there was a genetic change, and these people are wearing genetics and genes that was created through a cauldron, a cult-like way. And that's what this is signifying. I'm going to show you something with this man that's laying there. I got a closer image. I'm going to bring it in. Where's his head? I guess he's down there. Look into his face. I probably have to come. I'm close in. Oh, okay, I can get it from here. Look into his face right there. You see his face right there, his nose, his eye. Why is he wearing a woman right next to him? I'm coming across her forehead, her eye, her chin, her mouth. Notice that her face isn't incorporated in his face, and she's wearing this headpiece here, the Virgin. You see this? There are two faces in one. People, until I've made these discoveries talking about genetics, no one has never knew that this is there. A select few perhaps, because they know how we were created. So here you have an ancient figure that is old as I don't know what, and it's in the St. Quintin Basilica. And you have a reference of a woman in there with man. You see it now, right? There's the chin, there's the mouth, there's the nose, there's the eye, there's the forehead. You see that? And notice how his hand comes up and is showing you. There's a genetic chemistry between those two. Now, it gets better, people. It gets better because I want to show you some things about this. Where do we need to go with this? I want to show you something else. What I want to show you. Oh, the lion. If we can get the lion into this. I want to see if I can get a close up of that lion in there. Now you're going to see the pillow that he's resting his head on. Let me see if I can do this because I have my big screen up there too, so I can probably pull. Notice that the pillow that he's laying on, I'm going to see if I can turn this. Look at the faces in that pillow. In fact, I can do it like this here from where I'm at because I got my big screen up. This is a better way to do this. So notice that there's a face right here, people. Chin, mouth, nose, eye, forehead. Then look right next to there. There's another face, nose, mouth, eye, hair, forehead. Then there's another face, chin, mouth. Look at that, in a row. Look at these mutated faces all in a row. Then you have a mouth, nose, eye. So you have one, I'm going to go down there from chin to forehead. Chin to forehead, that's one. Chin to forehead, that's two. Chin to forehead, that's three. Chin to forehead, that's four. And look at the elongated nose. Look at this. A pillow of mutations. Now, people, you're probably seeing other things because there's a lion in there too. I got to see if I can pull the lion up. There's a lion and there is the ape ancestor, which I'm going to see if I can pull up in a minute. All right. It's actually in the form of a lion man. I gotta see if I can pull this. Let me see if I can put this back up here and give you the lion when you pull off of it. I'm looking at my big screen. Let me see if I come in closer. Hold on, people. Because there's lions, monkeys, and everything else up in there. Hold on. All right, let me try with this image that I have right here. I'm going to put this one back up. Maybe it's in this one. It's all in the resolution. And you know, another thing too, I told a friend of mine, you know, what can be seen here and be realized, it varies from one person to the next, meaning that a Caucasian person can see this differently, an African person can see this differently, an Asian person can see this differently. Do you know why this is? Because genetically and instinctively, you identify with the creations and the creatures at a certain pyramidal point that calls for your sight, your sense of being, and your sense of awareness. So instinctively, you're drawn to this. People are probably seeing things that I don't even see in here. In other words, some of them were not seeing anything at all. I'm going to see if I can bring that lion's face up to you. All right, I'm going to try. Let me try this one here to see if that lion will pop up, because I can't even see the lion now. At least the ape. Where is the ape at? Now that I've seen all those different faces. All right, I'm going to see if I can see the lion. Where's his head? Where's his head? Hold on, people. I'm getting. There's that face at the feet. Let me show you that right quick while I'm there. Look at where the feet is supposed to be at, and look at this, people. Look at that face there. Look at that. Where the feet is supposed to be, at the feet. And I can't really tell if this creates an arm coming up. No, but right here, there's a face there at the feet. But hold on. I'm going to try to see if I can pull in the lion and the monkey. You're probably seeing a lot of stuff there now. And I want to get in on that monkey. Let me turn. You guys are probably seeing it, and I'm not at this point because of the angle that I am. But his pillow creates the likeness of a lion and a monkey, and it's showing you creations that were created from that cocktail. Now you guys are probably seeing that where I'm not. But the lion's face and the monkey's face, they morph together. Okay, there's the monkey's face, I'm believing, is right there. So that means that the lion's face is right next to it. There, I have this image upside down now. In fact, there's several different, like, people, you're probably seeing, I cannot get it out. Let me see if I can draw it out on something else. You check out this image here for 1 minute, and there's more that I want to tell you about this, but let me see if I can draw either the line or the 8 out for you to actually see. And that's another thing too, is once I train my eyes on this and then take it away, I don't believe I want to be able to do this. I done untrained my eyes to see this. My eyes automatically tune into this stuff, and then now it's gone. But there's faces right here in the smallest. Let me see if I can get them to you. Where his pillow is. Let me see. People, you can Google this image and just look in here into the pillow. I promise you that everything that I'm telling you is right there. Multidimensional faces. And then if you don't want to buy that, why is there a woman face encrypted into the side of his face? So that right there stands out and tells you what is going on. So I'm going to continue on. I don't want to lose too much time on trying to show you what's going on. You know, there's something else here too that I'm seeing too. If I can get that up larger, is his hand there? Because I'm seeing something in the hand. Is his hand turned back or something's turned here that creates almost like a queen's face? Right there is almost like a queen's face, and the points of the hand creates the crown. I'm going to show you something how and why that's significant. You see that area right there? Right here? Whoa. Right there. And it may just be the sheet. I can't really tell at this point. But there's a chin, the mouth, the eyes, and then it creates the crown right there. You see that? What this is suggesting is that through bridging, a genetic bridging with ancient rooted religion and ancient rooted royalty, mankind's being, genetic being, was altered. Now I'm going to show you something else about this. Now this cocktail that I told you, and there's an ape and all of this, that, and the third that I told you right here mixed in. In fact, you can probably see it in there now, but there's an ape, there's a lion, all of that stuff is encoded and encrypted in here. So when you Google this image, you look at it, once you start separating the images, you'll be able to see. And it's showing you that man and woman was affected. And that's why you see that, in there. In fact, I'm seeing something else here as I'm going. Is his body still there? Because I see in this darkened area, I see something too. But anyway, let me keep going. These genetics are shown now coming off this man's body. Just imagine with me that take my word for it, that there's an ape and there's a lion in there and it's showing you mutate. I'm even seeing a bearded man here. Look at how these images change. There's a bearded man, there's a mouth, there's a nose, there's an eye, there's a whole darkened face right here. Look at this. Right there. I'm circling it right there. Eye, nose, mouth area, beard. This is what the fourth image. Now right in there also is where the ape and the lion is at as well too. So it's showing you that his likeness was created through that cocktail, through that chemistry. Look at this. Here's the beard. I'm in the beard right there. There's the mouth. There's the nose. There's an eye. There's an eye. This is the forehead. This is the head of that creature right there. And it almost looks like the creature even has something there going on that I can see. But I'm gonna keep. Oh, there's a lion's face too. Oh, there. Look, people. Here, this is what this is showing me. That through the bridging of the genetic bridging of the ape and the monkey, this is a half lion, half man figure right here. Let me see. I wonder if I can bring that in a little closer to you. You see that? It's more like the face of a man and a lion combined in one. And that's what that's showing you, symbolizing how he got his look. That's what that is telling you right there. The beard, the mouth, the nose, the eyes, the head. You see that? And the monkey is in there as well too, people. When you Google this image and look at it, do the resolution thing, go in and out with your screen. And this, I'm telling you, is showing you that he's laying his head on these genetics. And the whole thing creates like a lion, the face of a lion. Now, I'm going to show you how the lion comes into this. Imagine with me, this being over top of the head of the lion, where the lion's ears would be, the lion's diamond nose, the right eye, the left eye. You know that where the lion's mouth has that split down the middle over his top lip? There that is right there. And then it V's out to create the lion's mouth. And then here's the hairy faced lion is also the hairy face of that of a man. And that's what this is showing right here. So you have a half lion, half man figure here laid on a pillow of a genetic showing you how this guy was created or how he came to be. And he's laying on those genetics showing you. Now, through his pineal gland, and there's a darkened figure in here too, people, right there. All right. Now, through his pineal gland, now that he done genetically sacrificed himself, he's laid himself to rest. All of these genes that are described here are stemming from his pineal gland. Now, what is they stemming through? Again, down here, there was a show of royalty. This here is the discombobulated image of a crown turned upside down. Why is the crown turned upside down? Because the crown is showing you that it's turned in to face these genetics, talking about a genetic bridging over. Now, if you look up inside of here, just before the crown, you know what this is? This is creating a cauldron. Because in the stem right here, there is a Nubian-like face showing you wearing almost like an African headpiece, almost like a Mayan. You know, like the straw caps that has the all tied together and come in a circle, showing you that over royalties, even Nubian royalty. These genetics were capped off genetically in the cauldron, created, and now this guy is saying, I'm standing on them, I control them, I capped those genes, and now this is emerging and it's showing you the branching off of these genes. People, look at how I'm describing this. And notice how these roots bend back and then have these scrolls over top of them. New genetic lines created. This doesn't mean the word or ancient text. This is stating a branching off of created genes where these what you would think would be manuscripts and scrolls are now stating that I'm covenant in these genes that were created down here that I just described. And now they're branching off like stem cells. And people, the thing goes all the way up. Now check this out. Now this guy is laying down here, genetically sacrificed. And then it goes all the way up. Then it shows up here at the top, and it shows almost like the Jesus image at the top of the cross, stating that there was another cross reference. This people is mankind, or should I say Caucasian kind, describing how they genetically came to be and how there is a continued alteration process where mankind's genes are being manipulated. And if you look at this tree, when you Google this image, on each pyramid level, because this creates a pyramid as well, you will see queens and kings and their crowns represented in here. And then if that doesn't beat all, if you start looking in closely, if you look at the overall image, you will see genes which are described, because what is shown in between here, if you look at it close, if you think that you see a face, yeah, you see a face. These things take on faces and create other faces. So the texturing of this artist's work creates other faces. I want to show you something about those lion genes. I'm going to see if I can show you that. Now, I can actually do it with this one. This one is going to be better. Now, notice here how the guy is laying out. I'm going to take you to this limb over here. All right. Now, which way can I turn it to describe it? Here, look at that limb. Now, that limb is with the clergy figure sitting on top. You see that? Now, watch when you turn it, how it becomes an Arab-looking figure, or a turbaned-looking figure, with that root going into the mouth. Now, I'm going to get a bigger one. Now, if that tree is coming down, remember where that tree is coming from now. The root of that tree is coming from this pineal gland here. So, if this figure, this turbaned figure, has a stem of that in his mouth, what is that showing you? I'm not even holding this upright. Here, I'm not even holding that upright, people, because it's actually coming in backwards. In my, where am I at here? I gotta remember that I'm showing you guys this backwards. Where is that limb? It's actually right here. Let me show you on this. It'll be easier, because basically all I have to do is go like this. It creates like a turban-like figure, and look how this root then becomes into the mouth. You see that? These people are describing genes and genetics in transition, and it's describing from off the continent of Africa, describing our Caucasian counterparts, are describing through Christian belief and through religious belief and through ancient rooted royalty, how they were created and bridged off of Asian people, Egyptian people, and how they contributed to furthering the process. Again, I like to describe all of this is that this is why you have this crazy explanation for Adam and Eve being created just 2,000 years ago. No one can figure that out. You even hear them on Ancient Aliens talking about that. Talking about on Ancient Aliens, they're describing. They make me sick with some of their descriptions of all of this, because they describe as, well, maybe this is when aliens came in and they genetically manufactured man. I mean, at one point or another, I mean, and you're talking about people that are like scholars and people that have dedicated their lives to science, and they're then joined up with ancient alien theorists and coming up with some of these uncanny and crazy and bizarre scenarios of how mankind came to be. Now, it's actually quite simple, and I'm the first person that ever described it and ever put it out there as being in this sense. The reason why mankind has scientifically been proven to be millions of years old, hundreds and thousands of years old, based on our ape evolution, and I know where it came from the beginning of that. I even know where apes came from. But my thing is that none of that is included here in ancient biblical texts. The ancient biblical text showing man is only God creating man only at 2,000 years ago with Adam and Eve. Now, people, my position is that Adam and Eve and the ancient biblical stories relating to them are referencing a point in time where only Caucasians were created. Yeah, it's just that simple. It's that simple. Only Caucasians were created in the ancient biblical reference of Adam and Eve. You know how they were created? They were genetically manufactured off of already existing mankind. And with Adam and Eve leaving the Garden of Eden, is showing them leaving back a part of genetics which had them closer to their ape and African ancestor. Asians, all of that. Because back then you could imagine with me, people, that these beings were closer to being more than black than white genetically. So physically, they were altering themselves from their ape and African ancestors, from their blackest state of being, from their apist state of being, from their blackest state of being, to finally become Asian and then Caucasian, and it's showing you how it was done genetically. And each and every one of these ancient biblical tales are telling us exactly the same exact story. How from ape and Africans came Caucasians. Now, you can't be no more clear than that. So who is involved? You look at it. Ancient rooted religion and ancient rooted royalty. This is an upside down turned crown, and the crown also appears up here as well too. This is a king's crown turned upside down, meaning that it's turned in to meet these genetics. It's a cauldron. This is what this is all about. It's no difference than if you go and get a milkshake, go make yourself a milkshake and blend it up in a blender, or a witch's kettle. This is a cauldron, cult-like scenario where these genes are brewed and created, and now they're being branched off. That's all this is describing. A stem cell tree. Genes being branched off in other directions. Limbs being broken off. Genes some being capped off, some being destroyed. This is what this is describing. So all of our ancient rooted genes can be traced back to the same origins. And the animals that contributed genetically to creating them, because they have their faces encrypted and encoded down here. This is why this man has a face of a damn lion, in the way his appearance is like that of a lion. This is a far deviation from that of our ape and African ancestor. You're trying to tell me from ape and Africans, you want to say now this man came to be? No. This is the reason, another reason why, another thing that I have, a problem that I have, is that to get these genes, there's a cyclination process of these genes. And I'm going to sum this up with this. Then I'm going to show you something about all of this. To get these genes and to go back in this cycle, you know what they have to do? Each time that there's a genetic change, you know where they have to go to? They have to go back into where these genes started out from. Guess where they start? From Africans. Do you notice now, the latest example of a celebrity or a star being in Africa, going back there, is George W. Bush. our last president, U.S. president. Him and his wife then opened up a clinic over there, a to study and calls to take in and calls for cure for cancer, and where and no other than the birth canal of African women. They're claiming that they take tests, pre-exams, to stop African women from getting cancer. So what better way than to rob the mother continent of their genetic identity than to get between the legs? What better way do you get between the legs of virgins, between the legs of women, between the legs of tribal kings and tribal kings and queens? Through everybody, they are going between the legs of them, and these people are more than anxious to go over there. I mean, these unbeknownst to these Africans of what is going on. Now, you have the likes of George W. Bush, you have the British, you have the Germans. Each and every country is allowed to go over there in Africa and open up a clinic in the way that George W. Bush did, under the guise of they're over there on some sovereign mission or some saving mission. Oh, we're just over here doing a health cause project for Africans to actually help with AIDS or to help with this, that, and the third. And they're over there actually stealing genes to create new genes, and in the process calls for the destructions of the genes that they're actually taking. Because each time that these new creations, these chemistries, these cauldron-like cocktails are created, you know what they do? And they're successful? They blow up the bridge, in other words. So no one can follow behind what was being created. The trail is destroyed. So you have people over there on these missionary missions, under the guise of religion, under the guise of healthcare missions. Like I said, George W. Bush is over there now with his clinic, which he just opened up. And they're over there robbing Africa of its genetic identity. Africans are not even Africans no more. Everybody is taking a turn at going over there and taking genetic pop shots at Africa, where it's a cycle, like a wheel of life going around and around. Now, what's crazy about all of this is that George Bush set this all up while he was in office in America. So under the taxpayer dollars of Americans, he created this fundraising project to where now, through the cult-like ritual and cult-like engagement that he's involved in, goes to Africa, gets between the birth canal of Africans, which is the female vagina. He's not over there taking nothing out of no penis. They're going straight to the vagina, the birthing canal of these women. You're talking about virgins, you're talking about children, you're talking about kings and queens, you're talking about all that is to do that is going to line up to willfully and freely open up their legs for this man. What better way to rob a person of their identity? They're taking cultural, now imagine this, people, they're taking cultural tests, skin, they're taking blood, semen out of these women. So what do you think is going on with that? That stuff is ending up in these cauldron-like chemistries to where these genetic changes are being made. Now, when you're talking about a cult-like scenario, these groups that are utilizing blood and semen, you're seeing it here firsthand, people. Blood and semen. And they're talking about being bridged over black. I even see a chin. I see a chin here. Let me see. A chin, a mouth, a nose, eye, and a forehead. All up in here, face. You're talking about black being bridged over white at this point. And they're showing you, you can take the Bible. You can take the images in the Bible. You can take Renaissance artist artwork. You can take the Vatican's art collection. You can take ancient rooted royalty artwork collection, the artwork collection of our world, and it can be read backwards. And through each step, it shows you what genetically happened to alter those beings from one step to the next. And it's even more than that, people. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is something that is far more bigger than you can ever imagine. And because they done brainwashed you, put blinders on you to allow you to think that this is something divine and something unique and something on such of a high spiritual significance, you refuse to see it. These people are taking and robbing us of our genetic identity. And then they turn around while they're doing this up front, while you're taking communion of semen and blood samples with just imagine a little pinch. It only takes a pinch of blood to contaminate a person. They tell you, stay away from the blood. They wear gloves, this, that, and the third in the hospital. You're not supposed to touch nobody else's DNA. If you know that a common cold, just a sneeze, just a pinch of spray of a person's sneeze can give you a life-threatening flu, what do you think just a tinge of blood, not even detectable in anything, dropped into your water, dropped into your drink that you get through communion, or even a drop of DNA of semen? I mean, genes that are so powerful and so pure that they take off in your body but are not detected until like about 10 or 15 years later, when it's too late, when you don't even realize that they're there or where they came from, and they're in your body. It's not all the time that you're getting it. You go for this communion. I'm going to draw this Arab looking guy out first. They take and do this to you on certain visits where you're going to go take and get your communion, and they're talking about the blood of Jesus and the blood of and the body of Christ, and you're actually getting just that and don't even realize it. I'm going to draw out this Arab looking fella right quick for you. I wonder if you can see me drawing it out, and then I'm going to turn it around. I just want to show you how this, and then I'm going to close this video out. Oh, there's a monkey on the edge of this too, back here. I hate putting this monkey here because there's a monkey there. I didn't even see the monkey. As I started drawing it, there's a monkey face on the back there. I didn't even realize that. That's another thing too. When I start drawing, you don't see a lot of stuff, but once you start drawing, it opens up that door and your eyes start becoming trained, because once you start separating the lines, you don't, yeah, people, yeah, I'm the one that finds the penises here. There you go. Now, I'm going to show you this Arab looking fellow with this turban. I'm going to put in all the detail, and I tried to put in as less lines as possible to show you what is there. Now, he actually has a ape-like creature on the back of his head. Now, look at this. I'm going to show you something about this. Now, look how I drew that in there. And look how that tree limb comes into a fat penis into his mouth. Look at that. And then there's an ape figure on the end of his turban. I mean, on the well, yeah, I guess it would be considered a turban. Look at that, the ape figure. Look at this. And then it even shows how through this limb that it comes around and it shows you a branching off at this limb. Not from the traditional trunk here, but it shows you an interaction, a jump from one limb to the next, and it's showing you these genetics making that connection. Look at this. You see that? And then it shows you an extraction, you know what I mean? Where one gene jumped to the next without going down the main artery of this genetic pool that they created. Oh, hold it. Yeah, I got it right. You see that, people? This is a readable damn grail that you can read. Look at this. A readable grail. I want you to see that turban guy again because I took the liberty of drawing him out for you. Look at that. And on each limb is something similar. And then look how they got the limb turned back in on itself. Now look, this limb is destroyed. Now let me show you. Let me read this out for you. Go in here showing you. Jumps off to this limb on another level, and then turn this back in on itself. Now what do you think happens when this gets turned back in on itself and comes back in that direction? Showing you what was created here. It continues on. The new create goes on, and the old, look at the other, it splits, turn back in to destroy what is coming behind it, running it back in on itself while the new goes off. This is what I'm trying to tell you, people, that this is describing genetics. An expert can read this, and everything that I'm stating can describe, in probably, I'm just doing it in a layman's sense. They can describe everything and verify everything that, well, I can verify myself, but what I'm stating is that an expert can give you this in scientific terms, exactly everything that I'm saying if they wanted to, based on what I'm discussing here. My name is Gerone Wright. I took up enough time already discussing this, and again, I don't know if since I started drawing these images, can I see the ape up in there? I see the monkey figure, so I'm gonna hold this up there some for you. That pillow, look at that pillow that he's laying on there. You should be able to see creatures up in there. I'm gonna turn here. Let me take all the rest of this stuff. I'm gonna turn that for you, and then I'm gonna close this video out. I like to lay my finger on this stuff, but it seems that when I get started, look underneath that pillow there and start looking for those creatures. I'm turning it a little bit. See that? You see the faces? I already done pointed out the other face. I'm even seeing a face in blood in the sleeve there, look like in the guy's sleeve. What the hell is that? Is that what I think it is? Hold it. Did they sneak that by me? Is that the mother of creation and an ape together up underneath each other right here? What the hell? Right there? Is that my mother of creation right there? With an ape up underneath of her? A face of a woman and then the ape underneath? Let me see. My eyes are straining on this. This is actually small. I'm going to see if I'm looking at the big screen. Well, when you Google this image, look in the sleeve here. What this is referencing also to people is not only does it show you these creatures, it shows you which blood and which semen that they are talking about and which they are referencing. So the creature's presence will show you exactly the faces and all. That's how they did it back in the ancient biblical times. Oh, here's a face here. A face is actually created. Why am I throwing a shadow here? What's going on? I'm seeing a couple faces here. Let me see if I can set that down. Hold on. All right. Hold on, people. Yeah. There is this whole thing, this whole corner here. All right. This whole corner creates a face of a woman coming down. I'm at her nose. There's her eye. There's like a crown. There's her cheekbone. There's her mouth. and there's her chin. This whole thing, also this pillow, coming this way, and then it's not just one face. This is like the sixth face. Now I done showed you 4 faces the other way. Now we have a whole face here, and it doesn't stop there. Hold on. Why am I getting this shadow? I gotta turn the other light on because I'm getting a glare. Hold on, people. Let me turn this light on so I can get out of this glare. Let me show you this right quick. It's not just, now imagine all of that stuff that I already done showed you. Now check this out. Chin, mouth, nose, eye, and then there's the head. Now, people, it just doesn't stop, and this is cheekbone. This doesn't stop with just that face looking in that way. There's another face in the forehead of this face here. So there's a chin, there's a mouth, there's an eye, and there's a nose. So you have the face of a woman, there's a cheekbone, and a face and a head in her forehead there. So you have 2 heads together and then coming over to his sleeve showing you. And then this is what is merging into the side of his face, that other face that I told you of the woman that was there. So it's showing you how those genes morphed into that face, that woman image that is in the side of his face, man and woman. What genes are being described? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I even see something here, but I'm going to let that go. All right, my name is Gerone Wright. I hope you like this video. People, reality, what we were taught for it to be, is not true and correct. Reality, what we were taught for it to be, is not true and correct. I'm even seeing another face. Now, I showed you the one face of the woman there, the one that's on the side. There's actually another one up in his forehead looking down. You see the one that I actually already showed you. I don't know. There's the one in the side right there. I'm going to see if I can get you the other one. Here's the one right here. The encrypted face right there. Now, I got to see if I can get you the one that's actually looking down. I can't do it from this angle. But there's, besides this woman's face right here, it almost looks like her hair is braided. I thought it was a crown, but it looks like braids. There's another face looking down, but I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to end this video there. I think that that's enough to make my point. People, these genetic trees is what is being described in the Bible. These historical biblical journeys are talking about how these genes were created and they were taken out to spread and contaminate other places. People sacrificing these ancient biblical figures, genetically sacrificing themselves to go out to collect genes, to bring back to be cultivated, or to be almost like in a shepherdized way. That's why you see them with these sharecropping tools to show you that they went out and harvested these genes. And one of the things that I want to describe is like the return of the prodigal son and all of that. They're talking about how they sent their kids out to collect genes from different nations and then come back and they rebridge themselves with their fathers, with their mothers, with these kings, with these queens, with these clergy officials. And in doing so, they contaminated them. They contaminated these nations and then came back with the genes that they created themselves and then rebridge themselves and then keep going. It's a cyclination process that keeps going. And that's what these ancient biblical journeys are all about. I like to go to the story about Jesus, how they said that Jesus destroyed either 6 armies or 6 nations without lifting a sword. I guess not. You don't have to lift a sword when you destroying people genetically. Each and every place, if you have this ancient secret, this ancient magic, where it's almost no difference than if I have the flu, and through the flu I could give you AIDS. But I mean, I'm just doing it dramatically like that. And these people didn't know it, just like the indigenous people of America didn't know it when they turned around and got smallpox and ended up all dying. which I'm thinking now that they done went there and did that purposely. When these conquistadors and Columbus and all these people went there, genetically destroyed these people and make it sound all good because they didn't. They're saying that they were vaccinated. That's bull crap. These people didn't come to your to your place. You came to them. You knew what you was doing. You came to their house with diseases and purposely spread those diseases. And that's what these people were doing. I'm busting them people for creating these genes. And when you're at in these levels of creating, what do? You destroy those that are behind you. Because you know why? In creating these genes, you're playing the hand of God. So you find this sickness in your mind to say, you know what? Our likeness is better than the likenesses that were before us. So as we go ahead and start creating our new likenesses, we're going to start destroying the genes. And that's another thing, too, people, that you're not realizing, is that the Caucasian created people came far after those of our ape and our African ancestor, our Egyptian ancestor, our Japanese, our should I say our Asian ancestors. So they're on the end of the evolutionary pyramid of being created. So genetically, they're going to live longer. Their extinction point theoretically is further than those that are created on the closer at the founding stones of our creators, which is the ape and Africans. You see what I'm saying, people? So these people are enjoying something that you have no idea. I'm seeing a face here as I'm doing this. Look, check this out. Remember I told you how the trees and the limbs, these are how these artists capture the faces. Look here, chin, mouth, eye, nose. Look at this. You see how these faces are created? This is created in the chemistry of these images that are created. Other images create other images. You'll look, nose, chin, mouth. You see, they create leaves, create almost like reptilian-like faces. And if you look, you will see these faces up here on these genetic limbs. People, my name is Gerone Wright. I'm gonna end this video there. Let me get up out of here with this, and I'm gonna go into another video. I'm gonna make about 3 or 4 videos here. So I'm gonna end this one. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your viewing.